law enforcement, and as soon as they air this piece on you, you're done, bro. You are absolutely, your life has been changed for the worse in every which way, which is deserved. I always say that, I always preface this here. I don't want you guys thinking that I just support these guys. This is 100% deserved.
You ask her if she's a...
I ask everybody all kinds of stuff. It's just talk.
Did you sleep, Nick?
What's wrong with what? Asking questions.
Dude, I can't hold it together with this freaking moron. Do you hear this voice? He sounds like Winnie the Pooh. I don't know why they don't call him Winnie the Pooh Predator. I guess he kind of sounds like Mickey Mouse, but damn, this voice is atrocious. And that excuse, I ask everybody questions all the time. Yeah, I ask inappropriate questions to pretty much everybody I meet. I'm known as the weird guy. That's kind of my thing. Like, bro sounds like a freaking Rick and Morty character, but like voiced by just somebody doing a terrible impression.
What's wrong with what? Asking questions.
Well, some of the questions are pretty graphic.
Imagine walking up to a bank, you rob them, you're like, please, you give me all the money, and then when cops arrest you, you're like, what's wrong with asking questions? I was just seeing if they would oblige to me. Yeah, I was pointing a gun at them, but besides that, I was just asking a simple question. Like, dude, give it up already. I guess he is already kind of surrendering. You can tell this dude just realizes there's no way out of this, but I love his nervous responses to these questions. He is looking like a little chump right now.
Hi, I am Replica AI. I can do a lot of things. Discuss any topic you want. I'm always here for you. Do any activity or play any game.
Okay, so I said that stuff.
You ask her if she...
What's wrong with that?
You ask if she does it...
It's a question.
No, dude. Oh, this sucks. Okay, so basically what Chris just said is the guy asked if the person would be interested in exploring other avenues of entrance. There's no way to frame this, dude. YouTube, you guys are killing me, okay? You guys are freaking killing me. I literally have to censor every single part of this transcript stuff, but what he's asking is so egregious and so terrible, yet he's framing it in a way where he's like, it's a simple question. I'm just asking her if she wants to do butt stuff, man. Come on. I ask everybody this. Do you want to do it? I'll ask you even. Ridiculous. The intensity of his messages juxtaposed with his attitude now. Like, you can tell the guy was just really trying to talk up on the internet and was saying everything that was coming to his dirty little mind. And now that he's faced with his, the repercussions of his actions, he's really realizing he shouldn't have said so much. Yo, I know we're partway into this one, but I just want to let you guys know my Patreon, I upload bonus content weekly with Facecam that I simply can't show anywhere else. And this week we have a special upload. I actually just finished up editing this video. Right after I filmed this video, I actually went on and did a reaction to his entire interrogation with the police. This was like a massive amount of footage to go through and just way too much stuff that they're talking about on there that I cannot show on YouTube. So if you want to see that, it is quite hilarious. Make sure you check out the Patreon and support me over there. If not, just leaving a simple like and comment on the video does wonders, so I appreciate you so much. Shout out my supporters as well as the Grim Squad Overlord. You guys know the deal already. Anyways, let's get back on into the video, shall we?
Depending on the...
Over from the realm of fantasy to reality. And now your reality is going to be long jail time.
He talks about how she shouldn't tell anybody about it. She could get in trouble, but it'd be worth it. His blood is pumping, his heart is pounding. He's so excited, and yet when I read some of this back to him, he just won't admit.
And even in his chat logs, he's like, oh my god, my heart's racing. I realize what I'm doing is so bad. I'm proving in these messages here that I know right from wrong, and I know that what I'm doing is very wrong, but it's just making my blood pump. I'm getting excited over here. Like, dude, you are just handing over your case to this prosecutor on a silver platter, and I am so thankful you're such a moron and did so, because it is just beautiful to see unfold.
And how old is this girl you came here to meet?
I believe she's 18.
18? Mm-hmm. And what made you think she was 18?
I thought she said she was 18.
You want to try again?
That's what I thought.
That's what I thought, and I'm sure you're not about to read me a bunch of messages that say otherwise, but go ahead. I guess this little paper of yours got everything you need to know, so I don't know why you're asking me questions.
How old are you? 21. And why did you think it was appropriate to meet an old girl home alone? You don't know? You gotta have a better answer than that.
Chris, let me ask you something. We've been sitting through the same damn interrogation and interview that you are right now. What on God's green earth makes you think that he has a better answer for that? This guy has had one word, non-confident, terribly said answers his entire time. Why would you think he's capable of crafting an answer better than, I don't know, or it was just a question? That's literally his pre-programmed responses. This guy is too dumb to think of anything else, and he is just flashbang stun locked right now by this entire situation, which is making his speech even worse.
But that's not what it says here in the transcript of the chat. I read the whole thing, so you might as well just tell me.
I don't know. I really don't know. I thought she was 18.
What's that say right there? What number is that?
15.
15, okay.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised he was even able to read that number. I didn't know he could count that high. And maybe that's why he didn't know this was illegal, because he's never actually gotten to 18 himself. So he's like, oh, 15? Pretty high. That's about my max anyway. So yeah, you're probably old enough.
At some point during his interview with detectives, he did admit that he wanted to meet a young teenager.
Okay, so apparently Chris says at one point in the interview he finally fesses up to it, but now they just kind of let him waltz out the door. I think there might be an air of Chris feeling bad for this guy some way, because he does seem a tiny bit slow somehow. But no, I think this guy is just a dork and he has no confidence, and therefore he doesn't carry himself with any sort of, I don't know, bravado that makes you think he's a normal functioning adult. But he definitely is. If you read those chat logs back, he says multiple times, I know this is wrong, I know what I'm doing is bad, my heart is racing. This guy was clearly in the wrong, okay? There's no way to go around that. The guy knows what he was doing was absolutely bad, and there is no way to take that away from him. But either way, let's watch him waltz out and get arrested by the cops, which is my personal favorite part, after they completely embarrass themselves on national television. So dude gets embarrassed, face down on the concrete as he gets arrested by the police and hauled away. Quite a beautiful ending to this entire saga. Well, not quite ending, in fact. We have quite a bit more footage, but that stuff is going to be over on the Patreon, like I said earlier on in the video. So if you want to support me over on the Patreon and watch me react to about half an hour of uncensored interrogation footage with the Mickey Mouse Predator, make sure you check that out today, because that is going up pretty much at the same time as this upload, hopefully, if everything was planned correctly. But yeah, I want to know what you guys thought of this legendary case on TCAP. What did you think of the Mickey Mouse Predator? Has to be the dorkiest, most just sad specimen that we have seen on the show. I can't even call this guy a man, because he is just absolutely so childish and weak in this show. Thank you to all of you that were suggesting this one. I get why this was so highly requested. If you enjoyed it, make sure you drop a like. I will see you guys in the next video, and until next time, peace out.
Sir, please. I'm begging you. Believe me.
And you repeat several times, erase our conversation.
Yes,
All right?
that's right.
There's no doubt in my mind or anybody that sees this, you knew exactly what you're doing.
Yo, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to Grimm. This guy really tries to beg for forgiveness from Chris Hansen when he gets caught up in their sting operation, and sadly, or actually thankfully I should say, it does not work. So make sure you watch until the very end of this one. We got another classic TCAP episode reaction for you. I don't want the intro to be too long, so let's just get right on into it, shall we?
I get asked all the time, what do these guys have? And what I say as an answer is that
Okay, sorry, Chris. I gotta cut you off real quick. First of all, do you see how this decoy's moving in this intro, bro? I don't know what this drip is, the hoodie over the hat, but if you don't think instantly this is an undercover police officer or somebody working in a sting operation, you're a bozo, alright? So minus 10,000 points for this guy already for being a freaking moron and following this person into the house. Or even if they weren't a cop, I'd be worried of getting attacked or something like that movie Hard Candy. You know what I'm saying? Like, there could just be some weird vigilante person out here doing street justice, and you would just be on the receiving end of that, alright?
The vast majority of these guys do not stand out of a crowd. They don't have the word predator tattooed to their forehead.
And yeah, what Chris says here is honestly very true. I feel that we have this misconception where people might look a certain way, and yes, obviously there are a lot of ugly, glasses-wearing fat dudes out here who look like Discord moderators, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be a predator, and I think that's a good thing to keep in mind. Now, this guy is old, though, so he does kind of fit the role. Still, though, you probably wouldn't expect him to be a complete monster. Despite that, here he is stepping foot into somebody who is probably a fifth of his age's house while their parents are away and they're home alone.
Hold on to the kitchen counter for a second. I gotta finish brushing my teeth.
Okay.
What's in the bag?
Oh, nothing really.
Good evening, how are you?
Oh,
And that's right, the decoy makes him wait around for a second, and they are not playing. They just sent Chris right out. I love these kind of abrupt ways that they handle the situation sometimes. You know, I feel bad for the decoy, especially in those newer episodes that I started this series reacting to, which is crazy. That's over a year ago now. So shout out to those of you who have been watching me since then. But in those newer episodes, Chris is definitely, you know, making the decoy put in a bit more work. This time, they didn't even have them barely speak to the guy. They just, you know, were outside with their hoodie on, went in, and were like, yo, I gotta brush my teeth. Anyways, here's Chris Hansen for you.
What's going on? Go ahead, please.
I'm good. I'm gonna leave.
Whoa, no, I think, no, you need to, trust me.
Whoa, buddy, you can't leave yet because the cops are not quite ready and we gotta get some cringe TV out of you. So why don't you stay, answer some questions from Chris, and we'll be moving on with our day, alright? Thank you, Steven. By the way, Steven is 56 years old and he was trying to meet up with, I believe it said a 14-year-old in this chat room. So, yeah, he's got some answers that we need to hear from him to kind of explain what he's doing in this house right now. We all know why he's here, but I'd love to hear his reasoning, especially while he's having to improv right now.
Chat for a minute before you do that.
Okay, I want to go, please. I don't.
What are you doing? I want to see what's in your pocket.
Oh, it's just a CD.
And this guy really wants to leave. Even Chris is worried about what's in his jacket. He was kind of reaching into his jacket as he got in here. Imagine if he had a piece on him. That would be quite a scary situation. And I always think like, oh, it's almost a miracle none of this happened. Because when you back a person into a corner like this, it's kind of hard to know how they're going to react. But thankfully, it's just a mixed CD of some random songs he thought would make him look hip.
That's it?
This is the songs I have.
Song.
Yes.
He composes his own music. He's made his own CD.
Oh, it's his own music, dude. He literally brought a mixtape CD of his own stuff. Why can't you go be out here doing creative things? Instead, you gotta torment young people's lives and possibly ruin them by meeting up with them online, like some sort of monster, dude. And again, I love when these guys have a beautiful career. It does kind of suck when they're unemployed, because it's like, oh, he was a loser anyways. But with this guy having a good career, it just makes it that much sweeter to see him throw that all away. His life work now. Everybody who looks up his name, who thinks, oh, this might be a goated, you know, amazing producer, they look it up and they see this TCAP as the first result. That is that is beautiful right there. I love to see that.
He has a life, a wife, a son. It never ceases to amaze me how in one part of a guy's life it can be so totally normal.
And that really is the scary thing about these types of predators. You never know what is lurking underneath in their true personality. And that's one of these sides of just human nature that is very terrifying. I mean, I'm sure many of us out there have had things that happen to us, or we see things happen that somebody does, and you're just like, wow, I did not know you had that in you to act in that way, or to say that thing, or to do that thing. And it really is scary to kind of not realize what sort of monsters lurk underneath the surface for many people.
Oil change anxiety. The stress of not knowing who to trust.
But as monsters lurk underneath the surface for many people.
And what are you doing here, Steven?
I was doing something that I shouldn't be.
And what is that? Why don't you tell me?
Wow, and for once we got almost honesty on the first question. Yes, he is really terrified right now and looks like he just is about to bolt out the door at any moment, but he's at least answering Chris's questions with some integrity, which is rare, dude. Maybe he thinks he's in one of those situations where as long as he fesses up and says, look, it's my bad, they'll let him go. But no, dude, especially when they have the chat logs and you are here showing up, that shows full intent to break the law, and therefore the cops are gonna haul you away at the end of this episode. I hate to tell it to you, but no amount of cool mix CDs on you is gonna get you out of this one. That would be freaking hilarious, though. If you just, toss them a CD, they put it in the cop cruiser on the way into the station, and they're like, you know what, this actually slapped. Let's let this freaking weirdo go.
I've never done such a thing, and I didn't want to do it, and...
Why did you do it then?
Because I'm stupid.
Oh, but now he's, going to the classics. I didn't want to do it. It wasn't my choice. She's the one that kept messaging me, and I didn't even want to show up, even though I'm here right now in the flesh speaking to you.
I'm stupid.
How old are you?
Utterly, completely stupid.
How old are you?
56.
56.
I'm stupid, and I've never done such a thing, and God, please.
That's not an age. How old are you, Steven? Like, being completely stupid years old is just not a correct answer there. He's 56, as they said earlier. And correction, the decoy he was speaking to was actually 13, not 14, not that it matters all that much. Any age around that whole zone is way too young for a person like him to be speaking to, especially in the way that he was speaking to them.
Sir, please, I beg of you, believe me, I've never done such a thing. I'm crazy. And I'm wrong.
Dude, you can see him festering here with just pure emotion and fear. He's about to drop down to his hands and knees and beg in front of Chris for some sort of, repentance or safety from the law. And that is just not gonna happen, buddy. I love to see these guys squirm like this. And it's just so hilarious, isn't it? As soon as these guys are met with the possible repercussions of their actions, many of them don't even know exactly who Chris is, or if it's a parent, law enforcement officer, what have you. Before they even know their final, punishment, these guys are open and willing to admit the fact that they knew the whole time what they were doing was wrong and it was sick. And that's the part I really try to drive home in these videos to remind you guys, is that these guys are conscious. You can't feel bad for them for any extraneous circumstances, if that's a word. Hopefully I wasn't just making up a word there. I don't care if you're depressed, I don't care if you're lonely, anything that's gone on in your life, nothing excuses you trying to prey on young people like this. Absolutely nothing.
Since they're 13.
And please, sir, I know, and I don't want it to, I want it to end. I really want it to end and just come.
I don't want it to end. That makes one of us, dude. I want to see you scramble for hours on end. If anything, if there could be a legit channel where you just have 24/7 live feeds of these creeps getting exposed and realizing their lives are over, I'd be tuned in like a vegetable all day, bro. Just drooling, looking at my TV oh yeah, they got him again. Let's go. I would legit just turn into one of the people from the future in Wall-E. All that I need is a constant feed of Chris Hansen owning these creeps, and I'm good. And maybe some movie theater popcorn.
One is, I'm Chris Hansen with Dayline NBC, and we're doing a story on adults who try to meet children on the internet. Now, there's not...
Oh, we see a new move here. Instead of taking the hands, he uses what is available to him, and he lifts up his jacket to hide his face. Sadly, we already have about, 5 to 10 minutes of you showing your face without even knowing the cameras were here, so that's not going to do much. But I love to see a new technique introduced, especially after I've reacted to so many videos like this in the past.
Now, there's nothing I can do to make you stay here, but if there's anything else you'd like to say, we'd like to hear about it.
So he goes full turtle mode in his jacket, picks up his belongings and his mix CD. He's not just going to leave that, for Chris. If anything, you got to pay for that, buddy. Sorry. But he walks out, and now is the best part, where he gets arrested by the police. But shockingly, instead of just stuffing him into the car, they actually allow this guy to try to talk his way out of it, and it's hilarious to listen to.
Just let me go, please. Please let me go.
Are you serious?
I'm very serious. I'm just...
I'll tell you what.
I've never done such a thing in my life. I never want to do it again.
And as they're putting the cuffs on him with the flashlights and everything out, he is just recycling the same old lines that all these guys do. It's a one-time thing. I didn't want to do it. I'll never do it again if you just let me go. It's so convenient they say that as they're in cuffs, isn't it?
And you repeat several times. Erase our conversations. I can get a lot of trouble with this, but you knew exactly what you were doing.
And I'm glad that this lead cop that it seems, I don't know how the rankings work, I don't care about cops, but the guy on the scene here who's responding is not budging on this, thankfully. And I think this is one case where, even the cops are going to be like, yeah, screw you, dude. Other things they will quite easily overlook, but this, no, not happening. You're going to jail, and hopefully for a long time.
I thought she was going to ask me to take her for a ride to get a burger. I would have talked to her a little bit, gotten a sense.
Nobody's gonna be home.
And he claims it's all fantasy. Look, I don't know why they're giving this guy a platform to just talk like this. You notice how almost every other dude, they're just chucking into the car. Just because he's an old white guy doesn't mean you gotta give him privilege to just sit out here and speak his case. Let him do that in the court of law where a judge is in front of him and they can have the full evidence. Obviously, this cop is not budging, thankfully, like I said, but it's just hilarious. They're letting this dude babble on. Literally, in the original video, it's like 3 minutes worth of him just going ham trying to make excuses. So I want to know what you guys thought of this story down in the comments below. Again, a little bit of a shorter one, but I love reacting to these TCAP episodes and hearing your guys' thoughts. It was beautiful seeing this guy get owned. Make sure you check out my Patreon if you want to support me over there, uploading hopefully a few videos this week. Thank you to everyone over there who shows love as always. And until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Until then, peace out.
Let's see, what can I do for you? We can talk about everything you want. I'm online 24/7 for you. Just text.
Like the other man, once I show him a copy of his online chat, it's time to go.
On my way, I'm sorry about all this.
Well, before you go, there's one thing you need to know. I'm Chris Hansen with Daylight NBC. I'm doing a story on
Get all your needs. Get all your needs.
This eerily emotionless predator shows up to Chris Hansen's investigation on his bicycle as he only lived a block away. This guy really creeped me out. I don't want to have the intro be too long, so make sure you leave a like if you enjoyed these TCAP videos. But without any further ado, let's get right on into this one, and make sure you watch until the end, because this one is full of weird moments. Anyways, let's get into it.
I think that was our walker. Definitely, that was our walker. There he is.
As in our previous investigation, some of the men who arrive aren't coming to meet girls.
So that's right, this creep is one of the ones that's over here to meet a boy, and I don't know what it is with TCAP and Chris Hansen and the whole department that's in charge of hiring the extras or the people that do the work. I shouldn't say extras, the actors that are, being these decoys. When they choose a boy, they usually are the worst actors of all time. I mean, the girls aren't any better, but these guys usually miss the mark by quite a bit, so I'm ready to see this. Anyways, this guy's showing up on his freaking bike because he was that close to the investigation house. I have no idea how long this investigation's been going on, but it's kind of insane he hasn't even tried to scope out the area, because I'm sure he'd just see police presence everywhere around here for at least the past weekend or however long they do these investigations.
We've prepared for that. This decoy is a 21-year-old actor pretending to be a 18-year-old boy.
Hey, come on in.
All right, off bat. Just from that first line from the decoy, I already know this is fake. Again, none of us would ever be in this position, so I don't know why I always imagine what I'd do if I was in these guys' shoes. Would never be here in the first place, but hearing this vocal delivery of, hey, come on in, it just sounds so freaking comical and made up, like a drama kid trying to play the role of a high schooler. I always say this, it reminds me of 90s and early 2000s high school movies, where all these people are supposed to be juniors or seniors in high school, meanwhile they're played by 30-year-old freaking weirdos. I don't know why people go so hard when they try to portray teenagers like they're just normal people. You don't have to talk in some weird way, just to portray the fact that you're younger.
Hey, come on in.
How you doing, man?
Tommy. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What's going on?
Not much. What's going on?
Nothing much. Listen, I made us some drinks.
And conveniently, I mean, the amazing lines just continue, but conveniently they got this jug of orange juice or tea or whatever it might be over here. And just the way this decoy approaches it looks like somebody who, again, has been in drama and learned how to, walk across the stage and hit their marks. Everything just feels so rehearsed here. Why would you back up in this way and be like, hey, I made us some drinks at this conveniently located area that is well lit inside this house. Let's hope there's no cameras filming us, although if there were, I'm sure they'd get some great shots because the lighting in here is incredible. And I made sure to have this space for us to have this conversation before we get into the fun stuff. I'm totally not faking the fact that I am 7 years older than I actually said I was on the internet.
So why don't you pour me some?
Wow.
Meet 49-year-old Rob Culbertson, a computer web designer with the screen name WebDev2.
So this dude's a web designer. Granted, this was the early 2000s, so I'm not sure how much that job market was really booming back then. But this guy was on track, at least, to make freaking millions of dollars. And he's throwing this all away in order to have some fun on the internet with somebody who he thinks is less than half his age. Or around half his age. I don't know, honestly. This dude seems like he could be late 40s, whatever it might be. Either way, it just really bugs me when these guys have insane careers, and it shows how sick they are in the mind that they are willing to throw it all away because of this insane fixation they have on people of this age.
He lives close by and rode his bike to our undercover house.
So what's your food?
Oh, nothing. I was thinking of actually getting in the hot tub.
Dude, I am literally dying at this decoy's vocal delivery of these lines, man. My mom used to watch Days of Our Lives growing up. I would always just see it on in the living room and bask at how terrible the acting was and think, wow, how do people get paid to act this poorly? But apparently it's happening across the board on pretty much every TV show. I know obviously you don't have the highest caliber of acting in this show, but still, you gotta do something better than this. Hey, I'm thinking of getting in the hot tub. Would you like to join me? Everything is just so robotic. I know I shouldn't be going in on the decoys as much as I do with this show, but it is freaking preposterous how bad they are at delivering these lines.
You think you might want to join me?
That sounds cool.
Yeah. I'm a little nervous, so, do you want to
go first. Take your buff.
And rightfully so, this dude seems very nervous and off-putting in this scenario. I mean, again, when you walk into this house already it's sketchy enough, the way the house is laid out, you should be on edge because you are trying to do something that can land you in a lot of jail time if you get caught. And now that mixed with the pushiness of this decoy and the bad acting, you just gotta know that you are in a bad situation. And I'm pretty sure this guy is starting to realize that. Like, every single frame that we continue to watch, you can see his demeanor changes slightly, and he seems like he's getting more and more sketched out by the idea of him being here right now. I bet he wished he never stepped foot on those pedals. And I'm not talking about a gas pedal, because this guy doesn't own a car. He's literally just riding his bike around trying to meet up with people that he talks to in these chat rooms. People that he talks to in these chat rooms.
Culbertson seems to have second thoughts.
Actually, I think I should be probably going.
Why?
I'm not real comfortable with this.
Why not?
Because you're age.
And for once, honestly, I'm kind of surprised this is the first time I've noticed this. This seems like somebody who is thinking of changing their mind. Granted, it's far too late. By the time you already engaged in this conversation on the internet and showed up to this house in the dead of night while the parents were supposed to be gone, that's enough to land you in the slammer. But still, it seems that he's having some remorse. Again, it probably is because of the sketchiness of this person's acting that is supposed to be a 15-year-old or something. Clearly, it's just some kid who is in community college in the drama department and is trying to get some roles. Probably got paid a couple $100 from MSNBC. Boom, there we go. But yeah, it seems like the bad acting of the decoy is once again derailing this investigation, and this guy's looking to dip. So I'm guessing this is the time Chris Hansen pops out.
How was the walk over?
The walk was over.
Good, have a seat. What's your plan tonight?
Just start cruising around.
just out cruising around on my bike, I had noticed this door was unlocked. I don't know why I went up and tested it because the door was closed, but yeah, this kid greeted me and then he's like trying to invite me into the hot tub. I don't really know what's going on. I'm just trying to get my exercise in, and I like checking on the houses around the neighborhood to make sure the front doors are locked, you know what I'm saying? God, I'd be good at this show, dude. I can think of the best, most realistic explanations. Obviously, everyone would buy that, right? Because that's something people do? No? Okay, never mind. But man, I don't know, the awkwardness of this dude just being so serious here. I know that's probably his personality and also a response to him being in this environment where he is now immediately threatened with his whole life changing, but it really makes me feel very uneasy as he's just staring at Chris here. I'll be worried that he's gonna reach across the table and try to like grab Chris or something, dude, because again, these dudes have nothing to lose when they're caught in a corner like this. You don't know how they're gonna react, and when they're silent like this, it's really terrifying.
How old are you?
35, 40.
35, 40. You don't know the exact age.
I'm 40.
You're 40. We already know that's a lot.
And I'm glad Chris called him out on the vague age thing. Yeah, what do you mean 35 to 40? This isn't a YouTube demographics, breakdown, dude. Just say your actual age. Obviously, he's 40. He could be lying about that, too, because this guy seems like he could be nearing 50. But maybe that's just what being a web developer does to you, all right? It seems like it'd be a pretty stressful job.
And how old is the boy you wanted to meet tonight?
18.
How old did he say he was on the chat?
18.
18.
Yes.
And he's pulling the classic move of, even though Chris clearly having papers of their conversation being in front of him, he is running with this idea that the person is 18 and said multiple times that they were 18. Also, apparently, he's lying about his age as well. And it's just hilarious these dudes have the balls to lie about this right when there's an entire packet of their conversation in front of them. And I'm sure they can see that's what he's holding, or they can at least put two and two together and realize, hey, that's probably my chat logs. But no, they just say, I'm going to lie to this dude's face and expect it to work.
And I can give you the chat, and I want you to tell me where it says that he's 18.
I just went by what his profile said.
Profile said he was 13.
Oh, okay. See, I'm a web developer. That was probably on my end showing 18, and on hers showing 16. Chris immediately reads a portion of the chat log that just completely negates anything this dude just said. And he can sit here stone-faced as if he just got lobotomized all he wants, when it's not going to get him out of the situation any easier, right? He's done for.
No, wait, I'm sorry about all this.
Well, before you go, there's one thing that you need to know, and that's I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're
doing a story on adults.
Wow, and this dude just freaking storms off as soon as the chat logs come out. I mean, I guess that's what people do. When you expose them for being liars and you give them cold hard facts to prove what they're saying is wrong, they usually turn the other way and try to leave the situation, which is exactly what this dude is doing. I also love that it seems Chris is just continuing the spiel of him being Chris Hansen. You gotta give that reveal even if the guy's walking away, but the dude is like almost out the house at this point, and he's still rattling off the whole introduction thing.
Dr. Mike, please stop. Dr. Mike, get on your knees. Get on your knees. There you go. But yeah, pretty much this dude hops on the Walmart bike once again, hoping to just leave. The cameras come out, he knows what's going on, but thankfully the police are there to stop him and get him off his bike. Who knows, if this led to a chase, that could have been very entertaining, you know, to see an overweight cop trying to run on his feet to meet up with this guy on the bike, who I'm assuming also was not very physically fit. It would have just been amazing TV, but you know what, they wanted to cut us short. They probably weren't thinking about how beautifully cinematic that chase would have been. So yeah, this dude got arrested. Of course, he pled not guilty, but I'm sure the courts did not agree with that. Quite insane, though. I've never seen somebody show up on a bicycle before in one of these cases. Kind of a shorter one, but you know what? We're just getting into the portion of TCAT where it's some really obscure episodes, and we're just going to have to deal with that, alright? Anyways, thank you so much for watching to the very end of this video. If you enjoyed this one, make sure to drop a like and check out the Patreon, where you can get bonus reaction content featuring Facecam. Shout out to all my patrons over there. I appreciate you guys so much. And until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out. This is how you beat raid bosses. Just log into the game on 7 different days and get your Ronda champion for free.
Go to Raid Shadow Legends, or we're gonna have a conversation.
Welcome back to Grim. Do you notice that little bit of extra energy in my voice today? That's right, I have officially conquered my sickness. I know it took a long time, so I apologize for that, but make sure you watch this one until the very end, because we're getting back into the full swing of things with this going through the classic TCAT episodes thing, and this guy is definitely one you're going to want to see, because he actually has the worst interview with Chris Hansen. Usually these guys give up a lot of details that, you know, further help them, or help the prosecutors in their case, I should say, and this is so terrible about lying that he pretty much first things first, it is so creepy how fake these dudes smile when they see the decoy and they realize for a second that, hey, this might not be a sting, this might actually be the person I thought I was speaking to. That is just vile and disgusting how happy they are in this exact moment. But yeah, this is Brian, who is the target of today's video. But yeah, let's watch Brian's life very rapidly fall apart as he ventures further and further into this house and into this situation as a whole.
Online, Dory uses the screen name Ryman31282. She was chatting with a decoy calling herself Allie, who told him she was a old girl.
So that's right, this dude thinks he's meeting up with someone named Allie, and in the chats they actually go over the fact that he admits to having met up with people like this in the past. But now they actually prove this is definitely not the person himself admitted to they did.
Never feel lonely again.
Looked at the profile, you saw that she's years old.
And then Chris asked him more, and he's like, well, actually, she didn't say her age, even though I said 15. Okay, she's 14. Fine. Yeah, it literally said on the profile 14. Anyways, next question. Like, dude, this isn't a test that you can fail, all right? You gotta have better answers than this if you're just gonna try to lie your way out of this like most of these guys do. But maybe he's taking the honest route and thinks that will help him in the long run. Either way, you're kind of screwed in this position. So whether or not you tell the truth, it's gonna be awkward and you're gonna be exposed for the same thing. So you're pretty much screwed.
Story says he almost changed his mind about coming. This during his hour-long drive from Orlando, he made a point of stopping for some supplies.
And it is absolutely freaking disgusting how far these people travel in order to meet up with these decoys. This dude had an hour to decide whether or not he was going to do this. An hour-long drive for something. I don't think the last time I drove an hour for something, it was not something that I needed to do. You know what I mean? Like going to see family or something. I'm not really going out of my way to drive an hour if I don't have to. So this dude really wanted to go over to this house, obviously, if he's willing to take up that much driving time just to go over there. It's not like he was skipping across town. This dude went across multiple counties to meet this person. So that is clear intent right there. You gotta just stop this.